And in regards to like innovation, footlocks, for example, like how do you typically approach that? Are you kind of in the gym with the body, just playing around with body mechanics? How does that normally sort of materialize?
Yeah, it's funny because like I loved Keenan when I was like coming up, and Keenan was like always inventing shit, you know. And I'm like, now I have a move after me. I like it's amazing for me because like I always loved worm guard. I loved like Keenan's YouTube was always just moves that he made up. So like to have like something that I kind of, you know, like I didn't invent it, you know, I just kind of maybe discovered it, and my old coach Jeff Seraphin back in Chicago kind of helped me with it, and we worked on it together. And then I just came down here and I started using it, and there was a camera, so you know it got named after me instead of, you know, the next guy who works on it 10 years from now or whatever. But really, it was kind of just like answering problems, like for, you know, like solving problems, because like 50-50, anytime they turn the foot away from you, you can't heel hook. So what do you got to have an attack for the other direction. So I would always, you know, try to attack the straight foot lock, and obviously you can't do heel hooks in the gi, and I was doing gi back in the day. And so it's like, okay, here's a foot lock that is, one, legal in the gi, two, solves the heel hook problem. And so it's really just anything that I would come up with would just like be kind of solving problems. And some things work, some things would solve the problem, some things would maybe solve the problem once. So like I was working on something recently from 50-50, if like you can't get the foot unweighted, and I hit it in training on like a high level partner. So I was like, oh, this is the thing. And then I tried to like work on it the next day, and it didn't work anymore. So I'm like, okay, this is not a thing.
It's the party trick.
But like just like kind of trying different things, and like being willing to like be creative, but not like also being okay with like losing and like abandon. Like I don't even remember really the setup for that move that I was talking about from a few weeks ago. It's like I just remember I tried it, it worked once. I thought, oh, this is the next big thing, and then it didn't work again. So, you know, moved on to the next one. And so I think having like different or having like a mindset that you can like just try stuff, and it's okay if you didn't learn it from anybody, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. And I guess it feels like there's quite a few innovators at B-Team at the moment as well. Something that coming out, we talked a little bit about Joseph yesterday and Owen as well. So you've got some good guys, I guess, to bounce ideas off of as well. Do you find like collaborating and discussing concepts and ideas really helpful as well?
Yeah, I love doing like kind of like the tinkering stuff, like kind of just talking about moves or ideas with like, especially like Joseph and Owen. Like there have been so many times in this camp where I feel like it's like us and a couple other guys have just been sitting in the corner, just kind of worked. Yeah. And we're like 10 steps beyond, or like not even like beyond isn't even right. Like we're just 10 steps in a different direction from what's being shown. But it's like we kind of like take one thing, and then it's like, okay, what would you do if they do this? And it's like, oh no, I don't know. So let's try this, and then we're like kind of in a like the flow chart is like we're way off map, but it's still like creative, and you know we're learning, and it's kind of it's enjoyable. You know,
still relevant though, isn't it? Still relevant, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's relevant, and it's also relevant to like just like kind of the game, right? The leg lock game, or whether we're talking. Then it's like, okay, like I remember when Joseph and them first came. Every time we would do a leg lock round, Joe would try to omoplata me, and then now I'm trying to do omoplatas to other people. You know, so it's like you just steal like little things, you know, and it kind of helps you. Maybe some things work, some things don't, but either way, it's like you're learning. Your understanding of grappling becomes better.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And you mentioned earlier that you like to sort of go training, switch off, and then forget, go and then come back. We talked before about, we would like Kit Dale springs to mind, because he said that after training, he'd leave, and the whole way home he'd be thinking about stuff. Like, you know, in his job at the time, thinking about stuff. Do you find that you're able to kind of box off jiu-jitsu, or do you find that it does kind of leak into like your thoughts like, throughout the day, and you're constantly thinking about it?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely like, I'm always thinking about jiu-jitsu, and then like, but there's sort of like, I make an effort to do other things. Because like I remember I read some book, and it was a book about sleep, I think. And I think it was the Matthew Walker, like Why We Sleep, or something like that. But he was talking about like how like great musicians would be like working on a piece, you know, and then like they'd get stuck, and they'd be like, I can't figure it out anymore. And then they go to sleep, and they wake up the next morning, and they figure it out easy. You know, like they're like trying to like hammer at this problem, and they just can't find a solution. They go to sleep, the next day it's easy. So I feel like if you can turn your brain off and then come back to a problem, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or just any like anything you're trying to solve, if you just come back to it with a fresh mind, the solution might be just like right in front of you. And so I kind of try to buy into that like I try to turn my brain off so that like when I go back to training, the problem that I had yesterday is just easier.